the end, defense really led to offense that allowed you to close the game. What did you think of the way your team ended this one?
Yeah, I thought we defended really well down the stretch. I thought we defended and rebounded. I thought really the whole second half, Eric Bledsoe doing the job he did on Tim Hardaway was important, because Tim had killed us in the first half, and Bled went on him and just got into him and made it a lot tougher on all of his shots. I thought that was key. But then down the stretch, everybody really got into it and guarded and rebounded. And then at the other end, we didn't turn the ball over. We got good shots and we knocked some down. So a total difference in the last 6.5 minutes from the 6.5 into the last 6.5 minutes last night. And, we've said this before, we came off of the collapse against Phoenix, and then we came back and, had the huge comeback against Boston. And then we had the huge collapse in Portland. And a few days later, we have a game going down the stretch in Denver, and we do a great job and execute and win. So it's not consistent yet, but our guys are trying hard. They understand what has to be done. And tonight, the last 6.5 minutes were really, really good.
You had some really big performances from multiple guys, including Zion and Na, but I wanted to ask you specifically about Kyra, because he seemed to get some really crucial minutes, some minutes where the game was really on the line. What did you think of his performance, and do you think games like this, experiences like this, are what are going to help him take the next steps?
Well, absolutely. I mean, that's what, anytime guys like he and Nikhil and Jackson, who didn't play tonight, anytime those guys can get minutes, particularly in close games like this, that's where you learn and that's where you develop. And I thought both Kyra and Nikhil were outstanding at the offensive end of the floor. And then Nikhil had one great defensive possession late in the game. So, good night for both of those guys.
Coach, this is not in the box score department, but how important are these high screens that Steven Adams is setting at the top of the key to free up space and allow Zion to get to the rim and the guards to drive to the hoop? Because, again, that really doesn't show on the box score, but it's very important.
Yeah, I mean, they keep it in the league, screen assists, and Steven certainly is one of the best screeners in this league. Sets solid legal screens all the time and gives guys a chance to get downhill. I mean, the bucket that really got us started in the right direction down the stretch was B.I.'s pull-up off of one of Steven's screens. He got him all kinds of space, and he was able to knock it down. That got us started, and then we went on from there. So a lot of times Steven's numbers may not be real impressive, but he's a guy that we absolutely need to win with.
I know it was really early in the year, but going back to one of the early wins against San Antonio when it was, I want to say 98, 95, and so really like games like that when they're kind of muddied up and you got to make plays defensively. Was tonight one of those type of games?
Well, a little bit. I mean, Rick's a great coach, obviously, and not having Porzingis and Luka and playing on the second night of a back-to-back, they walked it up every time and called a set play every time. So it was a slower game, and that always is going to make it more of a grinded-out affair. So he did a great job with those two guys out, giving them a chance to win, and then our guys finished the game really, really well.
And Zion got to the line 18 times tonight. What does that number just say about his willingness to keep attacking?
Well, yeah, and tonight was interesting because I'm going to say on 8 or 10 of those, they didn't even try to defend him without fouling. Like a lot of times you're wondering if he's going to get the call. He's leaning in. It looks like he's getting pushed, hit. I mean, he'd just get by him and they just swipe at him tonight. I mean, it was pretty obvious. And then obviously they took a foul on him late in the whole thing. I mean, me, and you call it posturing or whatever. It's really not. Like, to me, he gets hit on almost every drive. Like, if they would really call it, he should probably shoot that many every night.
Yeah, and I think Zion ended up scoring or assisting on the final 14 points of the game. Just what do you think of the way he closed things out in the fourth quarter, and how important is it for him just to keep on getting comfortable with that role?
Yeah, I mean, look, last night, I got a little testy with you guys, and after you had said, like, do we need to get Zion the ball more late in the game? I went right into the office and watched the last 6:46. He handled the ball on every single possession in the last 6:40 until the possession where we were down 3 with 15 seconds to go. Every possession. And so the difference between last night and tonight is tonight when he passed the ball, guys made shots. And so now we're saying, he's making great decisions. And last night you guys are saying, you're not going to him enough. No, we're going to him. And he's making the same plays. Just the other guys went 0 for 7 last night. 0 for 5 from 3. He's making the right plays. And yes, for him, it's very, very important to be in those situations. It's different, man. And it's not going to be perfect every night when you're putting a guy like him in that position. These point guards have done that their entire lives. And he's just now getting into that closing out game. So it's not going to be perfect. But he's done it pretty damn well both nights, actually. And he'll continue to get better at
it. Stan, it seems like he's come a really long way in terms of late game situations from the beginning of the season, where maybe sometimes it didn't even feel like you didn't know if you even wanted him on the court sometimes very, very late in games. And now he feels like he can kind of do everything. The fact that he's progressed to the level he has in such a short period of time, what does that kind of say to you and just about his ability and his growth trajectory and all those kinds of things?
Well, it's two things, right? I mean, obviously he's a phenomenal talent. Okay, so we start there. He's got great skill. And he's getting an opportunity. And so he's a very, very smart guy. I've said that on numerous occasions, and he learns and he takes things in. And so he's still going to make some mistakes, and he'll probably have some games he doesn't finish well, but he'll learn from it and move on. And that's why, we've got so much confidence in him, because if it's not great one night, it'll be better the next night. I mean, this is a guy who learns, and he's taken advantage of the opportunity he's been given.
Coach, you guys began the game really well. Started and had a, I think, 15-point lead at the end of the first quarter, but then you really hit a wall in the second. Was there anything said either in halftime or maybe you changed schematically to where the guys really, like you said earlier, came out and played really well in the second half?
There was nothing schematically. Look, I mean, one of the things that happened, as you guys know, our second unit has been playing really well together. It's been Kyra, Nikhil, Josh, Zion with that group, and Jackson. And because of some of the guys being out and stuff, and Nikhil starting, so now we're different lineups in there. And that was, I think, a little bit of a problem. We weren't into the right rhythm. No, at halftime, there were no schematic changes. It was all about getting down and playing the ball and doing everything harder. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do to adjust, but usually the most effective adjustment you can make defensively in a game is to put more into it. And that's what our guys did. And I thought a lot of guys did that tonight, but I thought Bled really led the way. I thought he led the way on Hardaway and made life a little bit tougher. And I think that was key, because Timmy lit us up in the first half. And, that's a great one for me. This ends up being a great night for me because we win and Timmy played well. And I've known Timmy since he was like 3 years old, and love the kid and the family and the whole thing. And so him having a good game and us winning, really, really good night for a Pelicans-Mavericks game for me.
Yeah, and you mentioned Z's always going to make the right play. If they send multiple guys out, he's going to make that pass. What do you think about the way Nikhil's been shooting the ball lately, and how much has that helped the offense, the way he's knocking down those shots when they send those doubles?
Yeah, no, the thing I liked is he didn't make the shots last night, right? So he missed a couple down the stretch last night, and he came back with great confidence and got him tonight and knocked him in. That's the kind of growth. And, you said Z always makes the right play. He doesn't. And he won't. And there'll be nights he doesn't. And, the key thing is to keep coming back on it, coming back at it and learning and trying to make the right play. Our guys' hearts are in the right place, playing unselfishly and trying to learn. And that's what you expect out of guys.
Hey Coach, this is Davide Chiarilato from Italy. My question is about Zion. Did you expect him to be so good when you first started with the team?
I mean, I don't know if anybody would have predicted what he's done on some of these nights, but I certainly knew he had the ability, to handle the ball and make plays. I've said to our local people a lot, I spent a lot of time on the phone with Coach K talking about him, and he talked about his intelligence, which has certainly come out true, and he talked about his playmaking ability. Now, did I think I knew going into the season we would run some plays with him handling the ball. Did I think we'd just have him be the primary ball handler the entire fourth quarter of close games? No, I didn't have that expectation. That has just grown with time. So I guess he's probably in that area exceeded my expectations, which were pretty high to begin with. But he's still 20. He's still playing a tough position, and he's still going to have some rough nights and some rough endings. I mean, it's just, that's what you're going to, everybody does, first of all, and second of all, that's how you learn in this league. I coached Wade when he was a rookie, and we were playing against LeBron when he was a rookie. People think those guys, were what they were 10 years from now when they came in. No. The game was rough for them back then. Handling the ball and making plays and turning the ball over, it's hard. So he's going to have his tough moments, but you got to love what he's doing right now.
Stan, just real quick, Brandon has struggled a little bit late in game situations. Nice to see him make a couple shots. Is that meaningful for you guys, and for him, or is that just something as the season goes along you sort of expect him to make that?
Yeah, I do expect him to make them, and that was good for him. Like I said, I thought he really started our run with that pull-up coming off of Steven. That sort of got things going. But when you start talking in a season about so-called clutch statistics, like I had the statistic on my desk tonight, it got handed to me. We've played 45 games now, right? Brandon's played every one of them. And those minutes come out, the way they grade clutched up to 79 minutes. So we're talking on average less than 2 minutes a game. So I don't think that, has anything to do with like, oh, wow, in 79 minutes, the guy has struggled, so he can't play in the clutch. I could take a random 79 minutes of anybody throughout the year, could be in the first quarter. And what are you going to say? Oh, that guy can't ever get off to a good start. It's just not a big enough sample size. Come see me 5 years from now and let me know what it looks like career-wise, and then we can talk about it. Brandon Ingram's fine. He's a guy we want on the floor. We want the ball in his hands. We want him shooting the ball late in the game. And he had a rough one last night, and people forget quickly. 5 days before that, he was in Denver, and he was the guy closing out the game, making shots. But, we're in a business. What have you done for me lately? And so everybody forgot Sunday and went right to Friday. Oh, this guy didn't get it done. Okay. It's a little crazy.
Thanks, Coach. We're all set.
All right.